All right, so this time I have the same exact problem as the last video, but I'm going to do it a different method. If you're somebody who doesn't really like working with fractions, there's a method called clearing the denominator. And so what happens here is I have three different denominators in this problem. I have a 5, a 3, and a 2. Now, 5, 3, and 2, I have to try to find the least common multiple or the least common denominator for those three numbers, the smallest number that all three of those would go into. So for 5, 3, and 2, if you think about it, that LCM 30. That is the smallest number that all three numbers go into. Now what I can do is I can multiply both sides of this equation by 30. And so on the left side, think about it like distributive property. 30 times 1/5. 1/5 of 30 is 6. 30 times negative 4 over 3. I can do this off to the side if you need the extra help. You can make that 30 look like a 30 over 1. And now what I would do is I would probably cross cancel here. The 30 and the 3, divide them both by 3, and you get 10 and 1. So when I go across the top, the 10 times negative 4 is going to give me negative 40. And then on the bottom is just 1 times 1. So that would be negative 40x. So that takes care of the left side. On the right side, I just have to do one multiplication problem. So that is just half of 30 or negative a half of 30. So that is negative 15. Now from there, this should look like a much easier equation to solve because I went from having three fractions to having no fractions, which should be a good thing for most of you. From here, I'm trying to get x by itself, so I'm going to subtract 6 on both sides. I'll get negative 40x equals negative 21. And then you're going to divide both sides by negative 40. And you get x equals, these negatives will cancel. So you're just going to get a positive 21 over 40. Same answer as the last video, different method. I personally like this method better. I think working with the least common multiple, as long as you can find the least common multiple quickly, clears out those fractions and makes the problem a whole lot easier to work with. Now, our answer wasn't super pretty, but they don't all have to come out that pretty.